Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. Today we're looking at something I think we all struggle with, and that's staying motivated.
Yeah.
Especially, with things like meditation.
Yeah, it's tough.
We get all gung-ho and then...
It's so easy to fall off the wagon.
It is. So I've got some really interesting material today that goes way beyond, just those typical tips and tricks you might see online.
Yeah, it is really about the sort of deeper mechanics of motivation.
Ooh.
And, how to cultivate that kind of sustainable drive so you can really stick to your goals when things get tough.
I love that sustainable inner drive.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really caught my eye in this material was this idea of having like a team of inner voices.
Oh, yeah.
To help us along the way.
I love that.
It's like a personal support system.
Yeah.
But it's inside our own minds.
Absolutely. It's fascinating, right? Instead of just battling against ourselves all the time,
right,
we can actually figure out how to use those different parts of ourselves to actually support our growth.
I like that. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. The material talks about, even people who've been meditating for a long time, they still hit those motivation slumps.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just beginners.
It's so important to normalize that experience, right?
Yeah.
Life happens. We get busy. Sometimes it's just like boring.
Yeah.
It happens. So the point is to have tools to deal with that.
Right.
And not just give up when it gets hard.
Totally. Okay, so that's where this inner voices thing comes in.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, when I first saw this, I was like, okay, this is a little out there.
Yeah.
But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, there's some real psychology behind this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all based on this idea that our minds aren't just one thing.
Yeah.
We've got all these different perspectives and, kind of impulses and voices going on in there. And we can actually decide which ones we want to kind of amplify and give more power to.
So instead of that inner critic that's always like, you're not good enough, you're not disciplined enough, we can tap into these more encouraging voices to kind of keep us on track.
Yeah. And what's really cool about this material is that it actually gives us 7 specific inner voices to work with.
Okay.
Each of them has a unique perspective and can be super helpful in different situations.
Okay. I'm ready to meet this team. Tell me about these voices.
All right. Well, let's start with the voice of heedfulness. This one's all about grounding us in reality. It's like taking a step back and asking yourself those big questions, like, why is this practice important to me? What will happen if I just ignore it? What are the consequences?
So it's not just about blindly following a routine, it's really understanding why we're doing it.
Exactly. It's about knowing your values and remembering that your choices matter. They have consequences.
Right.
And, this voice can be super helpful when you're thinking about skipping your meditation or giving up on your goals.
Absolutely. Okay, what's next?
All right. Next up is the voice of compassion.
Okay.
This one reminds us that taking care of ourselves is not selfish. It actually helps us be better for other people. Yeah. Right? When you're stressed out and overwhelmed, it's hard to be there for the people you care about.
Yeah, I get that. I actually struggle with it. I feel guilty about taking time for myself.
Yeah.
But I do notice when I actually take care of myself, even a little bit, I'm way more patient.
Right.
More energetic.
Yeah.
More present for the people I love.
Exactly. It's about filling your own cup so you can give to others.
Yeah.
And meditation is great for that. It helps you find that peace and clarity so you can show up for people.
I like it.
Yeah.
So we've got heedfulness, compassion.
Yeah. Who else is on the team?
Okay. This next voice is great if you love a sense of accomplishment. It's the voice of healthy pride.
Ooh.
And this one taps into that natural drive we all have to master something.
Right.
And it reminds us that we are capable of learning and growing.
Yes.
And to take pride in the progress we make.
I like that. Acknowledge the effort and celebrate the small wins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And those small wins can be super motivating.
It's all about focusing on what you've accomplished.
Right.
Not what you haven't done yet.
Yeah.
And even if you're just starting out with meditation, just showing up is something to be proud of.
Yeah. Well, so far, so good.
Yeah.
We've got mindfulness, compassion, pride. What else we got?
Okay, this next one might be a little tougher to hear, but it's important. It's the voice of a healthy sense of shame.
Now, I know shame can be a loaded word.
Absolutely.
But the material's really clear that this isn't about beating yourself up.
No.
Right?
It's about gently nudging yourself in the right direction.
Towards something better.
Towards positive change, yeah.
Okay.
It's about recognizing when you let those bad habits take over, even when you knew better.
Right.
And this voice can help you break free from those patterns. and make choices that are more in line with your values.
So it's like that friend who calls you out, but they do it in a loving way.
Exactly.
You can see your blind spots.
Yes, it's about being accountable to yourself, but with compassion.
Yeah.
Right? We're all works in progress.
We are.
And this voice is really helpful when you're tempted to make excuses
Cool, that's good.
for not doing the things you know you should be doing.
I like it.
Ugh.
Okay, so we've got heedfulness, compassion, healthy pride, and healthy shame.
You got it.
I'm guessing there's more.
Oh, yeah. 3 more. And they're all just as good.
Okay, don't leave me hanging. Let's hear about them.
Okay. So are you ready for some inspiration?
Always.
Okay. So the next voice is the voice of inspiration. This is the part of us that finds strength and motivation from other people.
I love that. It's like remembering we're not alone in this.
Exactly.
Other people have gone through this and come out stronger on the other side.
Yeah, and it reminds you that if they can do it, you can do it too.
Right.
It connects us to this like lineage of wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, and reminds us that people have been dealing with this stuff for centuries.
Yeah, it's like those stories about incredible meditators who went through crazy challenges
Totally.
to find peace and clarity. I'm like, well, if they can do that, I can find 10 minutes to sit.
Right. Exactly. And it's not just those big, amazing stories. It can also be people in your life, you know,
Yeah.
friends, family members, teachers, people who just embody qualities that you admire.
But you want to learn.
Yeah, like resilience or discipline or compassion.
Yeah. So it's like inspiration is all around us.
Yeah.
It's just about looking for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, who else is on this team? I'm loving these voices.
Okay, so this next one is maybe the most fun. It's the voice of the wise inner parent.
Ooh.
And this is like the nurturing, encouraging part of yourself
Okay.
that knows when you need a little love.
I like it. I need that sometimes.
Okay.
Tell me about this wise parent.
Okay, so this voice understands that we're not robots. We need balance.
Yeah.
We need discipline, but we also need to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
It's okay to reward yourself.
Right.
Make things enjoyable.
Yeah.
Celebrate your wins along the way.
It's like getting a gold star from your parents.
Ooh.
Like, good job. You deserve a treat.
Exactly. Takes the pressure off.
Right.
Makes it more sustainable. Absolutely. So it's about finding those healthy little rewards
Yeah.
that can really reinforce those good habits.
Like what?
I don't know, maybe listening to your favorite music after you meditate,
Oh, yeah.
or having a nice cup of tea in a quiet spot.
Yeah. I actually do that. I have this special mug I use for my morning tea.
I love that.
And it really helps me get in the zone. It's like a little signal to my brain, like, okay, time to slow down.
It's a ritual.
It is.
And it's a perfect example of how that wise inner parent voice can help you make things more sustainable.
Yeah. Okay, so we've met heedfulness, compassion, healthy pride, healthy shame, inspiration, and a wise inner parent.
Get it.
Is there one more? Please tell me there's one more.
There is. There is. And this one's maybe the most important one, especially when things get tough. It's the voice of good-natured humor.
Okay, humor is my thing. So tell me about this one.
This voice reminds us not to take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah.
It helps you laugh at yourself when you mess up, when you make excuses, when you fall back into old habits. It's about finding the fun in it all.
The joy.
Yeah. Even when it's hard.
Oh, I totally get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I don't want to meditate, I just have to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
Like, really, you're going to skip meditation because the cat is on your cushion?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's it right there. That ability to laugh at yourself, it's so freeing.
It is. It really is.
It helps you detach from all that negative thinking and approach things with a sense of ease.
Like if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Exactly.
So sometimes you just got to chuckle at your own silly self.
Totally. And this voice also reminds us that perfection isn't the goal.
Right.
It's about progress, not perfection.
It's the journey.
Exactly. Well, we all have days when we just don't feel like it.
We do.
When we're distracted or just lazy.
Or all three at the same time.
And that's okay. The point is to not let it totally derail you.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's about giving yourself permission to be human,
Exactly.
to make mistakes, and to start over. Okay, so we've met our incredible inner team, 7 voices,
Yeah.
to help us stay motivated, compassionate, and resilient.
It really is amazing. It's like this whole inner support system.
Right.
Just waiting to cheer you on and guide you.
It's like a secret weapon
Totally.
against procrastination and discouragement.
I love it.
But how do we put this into practice? It's one thing to know about them,
Right.
but how do we make them a part of our lives?
That's a great question. And the material has some really practical advice on that.
Okay, good.
It basically says we don't have to wait for these big dramatic moments.
Right.
You know, to use these voices.
Like a crisis or a breakthrough.
Yeah. We can use them every day.
Okay.
In small ways.
So it's not about these big pep talks every morning.
Not necessarily. It's more about being aware of them and noticing when they're talking to you.
So just pay attention to that inner dialogue.
Yeah. Just notice what's going on in your mind.
Okay.
Be the observer.
And once we see what's happening in there, we can choose which voices to focus on.
Exactly. Are you listening to the critic all the time?
Right.
Or are you listening to the voices of encouragement and compassion?
And once you know what's happening, you can decide who you want to give the microphone to.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah. And the material says one of the best things you can do is just acknowledge those voices.
Like even the negative ones.
Yeah. Even the negative ones, just acknowledge them.
Okay, so not trying to push them away.
No, because sometimes just acknowledging them helps them lose their power.
Interesting.
It's like you're saying, hey, fear, I see you. I know you're trying to help me, but I'm not letting you run the show today.
It's like you're taking their power away.
Exactly.
Okay, so you acknowledge the voices, and then what?
Then you can start talking to them.
Okay.
Ask yourself, what would my voice of compassion say right now?
Oh,
or
yeah.
what would my wise inner parent do in this situation?
It's like you're choosing to think differently.
Yeah. You're tapping into that inner wisdom.
That's always there.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, like building a muscle.
Exactly. The more you exercise those positive voices,
The stronger they become.
the stronger they become.
So it's not about shutting down the negative voices completely.
Right.
It's about having a more balanced conversation.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's about balance. And it's a journey.
it is.
There will be days when the negative voices are louder,
Yeah.
but don't give up. Just keep practicing. Keep coming back to those supportive voices.
Yeah.
Trust that you can create a more positive inner world.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired.
Yeah.
This has been so insightful.
Yeah.
We've talked about these 7 voices and how to use them.
It's a deep dive.
It is. But there's one more thing.
There is.
What is it?
It's about connecting to the deeper meaning of all of this.
The why.
The why. Why does personal growth matter to you on a deep level?
Okay, so we've explored these incredible inner voices and how to actually, use them in our lives.
Yeah, but it's not just about the how-to, right? It's also about connecting with the why, the deeper meaning of it all.
Right, why does this practice, why does personal growth even matter?
Yeah, why is it important to you on a fundamental level?
That's such a good point. Because without that strong, why it's so easy to give up when things get tough.
Exactly. It's like having a compass, to guide you back when you feel lost.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we find that deeper meaning? The material mentions, listening to inspiring talks or reading things that resonate with us.
Yeah, immersing yourself in those wisdom traditions,
Yeah.
through books or podcasts or even just talking to wise friends.
Right.
It can remind you that you're part of something bigger.
Yeah. It's like tapping into that collective wisdom of humanity.
Exactly.
And drawing strength from the people who've come before us.
Yeah. And it can also be helpful to think about your own experiences.
Oh.
When have you felt most alive, most connected, most fulfilled?
When I think about those times, for me, it's usually when I'm really present.
Yeah.
Fully in the moment,
Yeah.
whether it's being in nature or having a deep conversation or even enjoying a really good meal.
And that's it right there. That sense of presence.
Right.
That connection to something bigger. That's at the heart of all these practices.
It's true. So maybe the meaning isn't something we find out there. It's something we cultivate within.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of this quote from the material. It says, the purpose of meditation is not to get away from the world, but to come back to ourselves.
I love that. It's about creating that inner peace.
That sanctuary
Yeah.
you can then bring out into the world.
And when we really get that, when we understand why this matters to us,
Yeah,
it makes it so much easier to stay motivated.
totally. It's like you've tapped into this endless source of energy
Yeah.
that can carry you through anything.
Okay. So we've got the voices. We've got the meaning.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, the material also talks about community.
Right.
You don't have to do this alone.
I totally agree. It helps so much to connect with people who are on the same path.
It really does, whether it's a meditation group, an online forum, or even just a few close friends. Sharing that journey with others can make a huge difference.
It's like having your own personal cheerleading squad.
Totally. You can celebrate the wins together
Yeah.
and support each other through the tough times.
It's a good reminder that we're not alone in this.
We're all in this together.
We are.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into motivation, I want to leave you with one last question.
Okay.
What's one small step you can take today to cultivate those inner voices, to connect with your why, and to keep growing?
Maybe it's setting a reminder to take a few deep breaths during the day.
Yeah.
Or calling a friend who inspires you.
Right.
Or finally signing up for that meditation class.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just remember that even small actions can lead to big changes.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you learned something valuable and feel inspired to keep exploring and keep growing. Until next time.